This event is a milestone in my life. I wanted to celebrate finishing my new book and video series, My Stories of Mental Toughness on and Off the Table. This celebration is about my personal growth. I also wanted to encourage other coaches to share their experiences and stories. It's important to increase the knowledge and awareness about mental toughness, mental skills, and mental health in general. I'm excited about the event. I hope it goes well and everyone will enjoy it.
We're here to celebrate Dora Kurimay's book and video launch party. Dora is an author, a coach, and an athlete, a former elite player with many titles in table tennis. But what some of you may not know is that her background is in psychology and sports psychology. You can check out her profile on dorakurimay.com as well as on PINGPOD.com under the National Coaches section. Dora is going to talk about her new book, My Stories of Mental Toughness, On and Off the Table, and a video series that she created. Dora, congratulations.
Thank you so much, Max. I'm very excited about the book and video launch. And thanks for everyone for being here. But before we dive into the book, let's just explain where we are and how PINGPOD works.
PINGPOD is a network of autonomous table tennis studios, meaning there are no physical employees at any of our pods, and everything is automated. So anything from the entry to security to getting foods and snacks, everything is automated. And they're above ground so that players can be visible to other people on the street and can enjoy the beautiful game of table tennis. That's about PINGPOD. The way we're going to get started is by watching Dora's introductory video about my stories of mental toughness on and off the table.
Hi, this is Dora Kurimay, and I created 11 mental toughness episodes during the quarantine in New York because it gave me time to reflect on my learning experiences. Sport and life is like a camera focusing on what's important, capture the good times, develop from the negatives, and if things don't work out, just take another shot. Creating these episodes made me to recall my major learning experiences from my life and also reminded me of my inner strengths. I have tied the stories back to theories that I've learned about as a young competitive table tennis player and used during my whole life, and also I have taught to successful athletes and professionals. Mental toughness is a psychological edge that helps you to cope better at competitions, trainings, and also important events, and to be more consistent, more focused and confident, and be better than your opponents under high pressure situations, and also bounce back quickly after setbacks and challenging situations. In each episode, I conclude with mental toughness tips that can be useful for you. I hope you will enjoy them and learn from them. So let's get started. So storytelling is a very important tool, but I was never really good at telling stories, and I wanted to work on these skills. And I also wanted to share my stories because I wanted people to get to know me better as a person and a professional as well. And through stories, it's easier to relate to people, and it's also easier to learn through stories, because it gives us a path how we could go through difficult times, and also how we can get back even stronger than before.
What do you emphasize in the book?
I emphasize in the book having fun, it's very important, and also finding a place where you can develop your talents, and also creating an environment where you can understand athletes' needs and motivations. And I really emphasize in the book as well that adjustment is really important because we are living in a time of crisis, and we really have to adapt and also learn new skills. And I'm emphasizing all these things in the book, and we also have to learn skills like public speaking.
Great, all right, now we're getting to this video here.
Hey, Dora! First of all, I wanted to say hello. Good to have you here, good to see you, and thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to introduce my good friend and an expert in her field of psychology, mental toughness, and table tennis. I think your book is going to positively impact many, many people, not only in the sport of table tennis, but just in daily life, so on and off the table. And yeah, thank you very much again for giving me the opportunity, and I'm really excited to be a part of the process and excited for all that you're going to do with this book. So thank you, congratulations, and let the book soar and carry on through the world to help others.
During this coronavirus, it was very difficult for everybody. We were just starting. We were supposed to do a grand opening when all this happened. If you have a goal to achieve, you focus on it and you're committed to making sure that I'm mentally tough and I will see through it, that I will push through. Table tennis players, they have to put hours, time, commitment, and hard work, and years of practice, repetition of practice. The moment you stop, the muscle forgets, the mental forgets, so that's why you need to keep going. The city's been paused for 1 month now, but we are very optimistic. We're moving forward, and I know we're gonna get through this together.
Ernesto Ebuen, to me, he's not only my business partner, coach and player extraordinaire, but also generally someone who I lean on every day to get things done. Amongst many other things, he is the co-founder of the New York City Table Tennis Academy, the founder of the Philippine Table Tennis Academy, former #1 rated US player just a couple of years ago, 6-time Philippine national champion, and of course, our co-founder at PINGPOD. Ernesto.
I always believe, and it always resound to me that, especially on your introduction, that whenever there's crisis, there's opportunity. So I think for Dora, during this COVID crisis, she found an opportunity to share her passion, her expertise to all of us, and thank you for doing that. My favorite part of the book are 3 parts. Again, your introduction is just spot on. A crisis, every single crisis, there's opportunity, which you really tackle. And the intrinsic and extrinsic. You know, intrinsic is, for me, it's just the sport itself. Anything about the sport, I love. I actually joked with my wife, or she joked me that actually table tennis is your first wife and I'm just the second. Because ever since it is my passion. Spins, you know, the table, the rubber, everything about it, the people, it's just amazing, and I'm truly blessed that, you know, I was able to find this sport. The extrinsic part of the book, or which you tackled, I really absorb also and relate, is that I didn't only just wanted to win. I have a better goal. In Philippines, we are very poor. So I actually use table tennis to better my life. So And that's the summary of it. And that's actually my take on the book. So before I end this, I want to share to you guys that whenever you're in that position of crisis, whether it's right now or whether it's in the future, don't just think about what's happening. Think about an opportunity that can arise to it. Thank you for sharing your book, and again, congratulations, Dora.
Thank you, Ernesto, and thank you for your nice work and preparation.
So when I was reading my stories of mental toughness on and off the table, I felt very related to her when she specifically talked about visualization and how she used it as a pre-performance routine. In my personal experience, I used it, but I didn't know about the importance of it. And I just explored it and applied to my game, and it worked. For many years, the Dominican Republic has been leading in the Caribbean Championships. It has not been very easy because there are a lot of great players from different Caribbean countries. It requires a lot of preparation from our part, but we have always done our best in order to get the title. We have won doubles, myself and Eva Brito, which is my teammate. But in the singles event, I have been in the podium, but this time, but never first place. And I really wanted to win the first place. And Eva Brito, my teammate, she was always winning this event. And then I actually first had a respect for her because she was older than me. But then I realized that I need to fight in order to achieve my goal, and no matter who I'm playing against, right? So this is what I did, and for this tournament, what I did differently was that I tried to prepare before my match, and I try to visualize and use a lot of senses in my mind, playing that movie, how I was holding my racket with my hands and feeling the ball, every point and every strategy that what I was doing against her. And because actually I knew her game, I used to practice with her every single time. So what was going on? It was myself, right? Something on my mind. So this is what I did. I tried to visualize my match before playing the game on that day. And I made sure that I also had a good warm-up, and I hydrate myself and prepare mentally and physically in general. So thanks to the use of visualization and all this together, I was able to beat her, and it felt so different, and that I started to apply this in all areas of my life, and that makes a really big difference from the level that I was than the level that I have right now. And yes, I just won, and everybody was happy because they had a new champion and all that. And then, yes, I just want to say that I highly recommend to all table tennis players practice the concept of visualization. And it doesn't matter your level, your age, your where are you coming from, right? We all have to know this in order to put it in practice. And you can find this in Dora's book. Yeah, she's gonna explain it very clear. Yeah, so it's just amazing.
Yes, you had a very strong physical and mental preparation, right? So what did you do during the preparation?
I was working hard on my mental game, on how to play match during the practicing matches, because many times I was up 2-0 and then I lost 3-2, and I also did a lot of psychical strength, into endurance training, to increase my stamina and to be able to make it on the end of the competition. Yeah. I was in a really good shape, so both mentally and physically at the tournament. I was able to be successful because I never give up, and I was confident in my game, in my skills. The all work hard and help me to achieve my goal.
That's very good. It's a great story. Very good. It's very rare that someone is not the top player in juniors but can make this huge improvement and become much better as an adult player, right? So I'm sure everyone would love to hear about that. How could you make that huge improvement? And what helped you?
Yeah, first of all, you said that I was a good player, but I would say that I was really not a good player at that time. But you, on the other hand, was one of the best junior players in Europe. So it was quite normal that you beat me 21-10, 21-10, 1999. Yeah, that was a tough loss for me, but I think what made me become a good player later on was, first of all, the fact that I started training seriously quite late. So as a junior, I didn't have many years of experience. So I had some catching up to do. But also a few different factors was that every time when I was not selected or chosen to play something national team, my dad, he was supporting me a lot, and he was never blaming somebody else, but he gave me the responsibility to get better. He was like, yeah, well, you can just, the only thing you can do is become so much better than everyone else that they cannot remove you from the team. Or so basically saying, just keep going and believe in what you do. So I think in some cases the parents or the coaches are saying, yeah, this national team coach is stupid, or this player is not better than you, but he was only pushing me to become better. And I tried to do that, and in the long term that was something that made me a good player, because I just did what I believed in and didn't care so much about how good somebody else was, because you can never influence them anyway. So yeah, I think that's one of the biggest reasons why I had a different path.
So basically your dad and so your dad's support, and how basically he was always encouraging you and was there for you, and also it also helped you that you believed in yourself and you only focused on your improvements, right?
Yeah, I think from the beginning he was a big part, but then he also taught me to believe in this way myself. So I don't think you have to have somebody pushing you, but you have to know that this is the way to go, and then you don't really have to care about what people around you say.
Okay, that's a great insight. Thank you so much. And would you mind to share any stories that how you overcame some challenging situations, even at how you made the Olympics? I know it was a difficult time for you, right?
Yeah, I think that's very much tied to what we just spoke about. I qualified for Beijing in 2008 and London 2012, and in Sweden the Olympic Committee gets to decide who gets to go and who don't go, because if they feel that you're not able to reach far enough, or if they think that you're not, like they call it the tourist, like that you will somehow obstruct the medal for other athletes or not be good for the group, then they can say that you are not allowed to go, even though you qualified. So this happened twice to me, because they said I was too old for making good results. I was no future prospect, and this was, of course, very hard for me. But I think again we come back to this, like the reason why I started playing table tennis was not to play Olympics. It was because I like to play. I love the game, and I love the feeling of improving something, and like I said, go my own way. And with support, I have to say, from people around me, I could keep going. I kept improving, and I tried not to focus too much on what I was missing. So after the 2012 Olympics, I started doing really good results consistently, and 2016 they couldn't stop me from going, so they had to let me go, and so I played in Rio, which was amazing experience, of course. So I think just remembering the why you play, and that can keep you going even when it gets hard.
Hey guys, I'm Samson Dubina. I highly recommend that you check out Dora Kurimay's new book. This book is very practical and very relatable to every table tennis player. So Dora, she asked me if I could tell a quick story about my game, about maybe a story from a tournament experience that I previously had. So I'm going to take about 1 minute of your time and tell you a quick story that I had that I think would be relatable to you. So a few years back, I was playing against a very tough opponent. His name's Jalzare, and I was much lower than him. He's much higher, much better. I didn't have real high expectations as far as winning the match, but I had a solid game plan in place as far as what I was planning to do. So throughout the match, I was not really focused too much on winning. I was just like, stick to the plan and do the right things. So he was leading 2-1 in games, fairly normal match. And then I played well in the fourth game, and I'm leading 9-3. And I started thinking to myself, wrongly, but I started thinking to myself, you know what? I could actually win this match. Here we are, I'm down 2-1 in games, but I'm up 9-3. And so as soon as those thoughts of, I could win, I could win, I could win, start creeping in, what do you think happened? Then I start losing, because my focus wasn't on the tactics at hand. My focus was on, well, that'd be amazing if I won this match. And it led to muscle tension, it led to bad shot selection because my focus was off. So he came back to 9-8. As I was going to pick up the ball, I remember telling myself, you know what? I don't even want to win this match anymore. All I want to do is do the right thing. So I told myself, let's get back to the plan. Let's get back to the focus on tactics and let winning take care of itself. So I won the next 2 points, and then I ended up winning in the 5th game. Why do I tell you this? I tell you this because a lot of players, unfortunately, dwell too much on the benefits of winning or the consequences of losing, and it hinders them from maximum performance. So for sure, different thoughts are going to go into your head, but you need to be able to shift your focus back to what's really important. What's really important? To be able to play as you practiced, to be able to stay relaxed, to be able to analyze really what's going on during the points, to be able to enjoy the moment, and to be able to play your best. Thanks, and make sure you check out Dora's new book.
Before the match, I have a few sessions with Dora, and I think it's really helped me. I think before the match, she told me that I'm thinking too much, like everything in my life, like table tennis, like the colleague, everything. So before the match, I just do some yoga. Dora told me that the breathing, right? And then, yeah, so during the match, I was like kind of like really nervous. So when I was like really nervous, I just trying to the deep breathing. I think just calm down. Yeah, I think this is really helpful actually. So after the match, I just keep doing that because I feel like it's really helped me not only table tennis, also in your life. You know, when you have like very tough time, you know, like something like that. Yeah. So I really recommend for this new book because like everyone I think can learn some topic, you know, like tips for your life.
Thanks for sharing that, Jennifer.
Thank you.
And
congrats for a new book.
Thank you. Yes, and the bottom line is that all the techniques that I'm talking in the book, basically you can apply not just in table tennis, other sports and all areas of your life. And there is even a chapter on breathing, actually in another sport. But yes, breathing is so crucial, and many people, when they get nervous, you don't breathe basically, or you have shallow breathing. And what's really important is focusing on breathing in, holding your breath, and then exhalation has to be longer than when you are. But thank you so much for sharing your breathing experience.
Thank you for helping me.
Honestly, I'm very happy to be here. So there's a lot of different directions that I can go. There's just so many things I could talk about with Dora because I've known her for so long. And when she first started kind of talking to me about this idea for a book, she's written a lot of stuff. And some of the things that she's done, a lot of it is like scientific, she's done research. And I actually thought that this was a really good idea because it was kind of like your life, like how you felt and what you were experiencing. And I thought there was something different about that. And this was before you even like were starting the project. You sent me a copy of it. I read through it in one time, and I have to say, I really, really enjoyed it. I felt it was different than anything you've ever done because you kind of took your life experience and you sort of taught us a little bit. So it was like we were there in your journey. So I would say there's probably 3 things that I really took from this book that I think readers could get a lot out of it. One was how we relate to ourselves. The other was how we relate to other people. And then the third is how we relate to life. So I'll probably talk a little bit about those 3 things, and I think that was really, for me, what I got out of the book. As I said, I've known Dora for a long time. We've competed quite a bit. We've had some very tough battles. For those of you that don't know me, I've played table tennis for a long period of time. I started in the South Beach Boys and Girls Club. I lived on the street for a number of years. I was living in the subway for about 7 years. Been in jail a couple times, probably about 50 times. So my life was not really going too well for a certain period of time, and it wasn't looking too good. Table tennis really helped me out a lot and sort of changed things for me. And then I never went to high school, junior high school. I ended up finishing 5 college degrees, and now I'm a clinical social worker. And where this sort of connects with Dora is that, you've had your own journey, right? And there are a couple, there's so many things that you've done, and I could probably talk for hours about sort of, because I know a lot about your life, but some of the things that stick out is for instance, you stopped table tennis for 5 years, right? Which is pretty impressive, and then you were able to achieve a really good level. She did beat 2 national champions, not women national champions, men, which is amazing in tournament, which is very hard to do. And I was there at the US Open. I remember the match that you beat. You beat the current national champion. Great match, and I think he might have won a game, I don't remember, but I think you were pretty much in control of that match. So that was pretty good. So the relationship to self, so in the book that Dora's saying is, sometimes we're very difficult with ourselves. That's kind of in life, and I see that too. It's we're really, so how we sort of treat ourselves and if we could try to be easy with ourselves, and Dora talks a little bit about that in the book, and then of course how we can relate to others in a little bit of a better way. In table tennis it's interesting because at least when I was playing, and even when we play, still I want to kill you. I want to win the match, right?
I know that.
It's I hate to lose, so I want to and definitely mental is something that I have to work on. But coming up as a player, I wasn't really friends with anybody. I really just hated my opponents, wanted to kill them, and then as I sort of like grew up a little bit more, I became friends with Dora, Ernesto, and some players, and I realized that we're all sort of in this together, especially we've got COVID going on. So I think that again is one of the things that I really liked about your book. It's like we all have our sort of individual journeys that we can learn, and you put yourself out there to really kind of talk about your life, when you were in Hungary, how you came here, and all the challenges. For me, I felt it was very beneficial. I really enjoyed it. It's like I said, relating to self, that it's important to be easy with ourselves. It's important to try to connect with other people. And again, for me, most people, I'm okay in life. I'm not saying I'm the best, but when people see me play table tennis, they usually won't really speak with me because I'm a little crazy. And then of course, life itself. We're all here just trying to do the best that we can. And I would say that's the final thing that I got out of the book that you wrote is, we're all just trying to do what we can. And just trying to participate in life the best way that we can. And I want to thank you for that. I really enjoyed that book.
Can you catch it? My name is Kaz. I'm known as the Tasmanian Devil. And thank you for inviting me over to this special event. I would like to congratulate PINGPOD for opening this beautiful place. And also, I would like to congratulate you to launch this amazing book. And it's very impressive. And I think you can help a lot of people, a lot of players. And I think I can use that, tactics that's mentioned in the book as well. Anyway, thank you very much for having me in the book and also introducing me as a major distraction.
Oh, yes. I wrote about how to block out distraction and specifically used an example about distraction. And cats was the distraction in the book because the first time when I moved to New York and I played at the Dirty Dozen, it was a non-traditional environment for tournaments at Spin New York. And the first time I had to play against Kaz. And I didn't know Kaz before, so I got very surprised when he started removing his clothes during his match.
Really? I was basically doing the best I could to entertain everyone.
Coaching and mentoring, everybody has different styles, but there's only one thing that we ask and what we care is you coach and you mentor from your heart, because these are the kids, they look up to you. It's really about caring, right? Coaching with heart is really about caring. It's easy said than done. I think it comes down to a few things. Preparation, paying attention, you monitor, you evaluate, and you adjust. I think these are the keys. Dora is really the best in terms of preparation. I remember every single class, she would write down the class, all the whatchamacallit, the notes.
The plan. I wrote the plan.
Every single class. And she would send it out before the class. Okay? And not only for herself, send it out to the assistant coaches and she would review it. It's incredible. And it's actually very infectious as well. Not good work right now, but it is. One thing we want to ask is everybody who are coaching should buy and read Dora's book. Why? Because it's all about experience, right? So if you see some students, you get into a situation, it's not always what to do. Dora's book has a lot of experience, right? One of them is one example. You have a personal event that's very important. You have a table tennis, maybe the championship, right? The city champions next day. So similar to a story in Dora's book, what are you gonna do? How are you gonna balance what's best for the student, right? Maybe it's not the city championship. Maybe it's that particular prom that it really means a lot for them. You have another life-threatening experience sometimes. You never know, right? You be driving and something happens. How do you deal with it? And Dora's book has a story about, give it up a little bit, like night diving. Everybody should read that.